Howdy ho, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk. This week's episode is all about porch pirates and delivery drivers. I most definitely have a hate-hate relationship with these two groups. But before we get to that, here's a quick message. Hey all, just a quick mention here. Please like, subscribe, share, and comment on the videos you like. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, which helps me. Takes 2 seconds. So thanks in advance. Alrighty, porch pirates and delivery drivers. So I started to have a quote unquote hard on for the delivery drivers about 8 years ago. I moved back to Alberta. And one of the first purchases I made was a 3D printer. And I was pumped to get this. I had been wanting one for a long time. So I ordered it and Purelator delivered it. And actually, I just remembered a story from before that about Purelator. I'll get to that. But anyway, so I ordered it and it came. Now, thank God I was so excited for this delivery that I slept on my main floor. I woke up early and I was waiting for this to get delivered because sure enough, I heard the delivery driver drop it at my front door. Now I'm in a townhouse complex and at my front door is concrete and there's me, my neighbor, myself, and my other neighbor, and then across the street there's three other doors there, and it's all concrete there, thoroughway. And yeah, this driver did not ring my doorbell, did not knock on my door, nothing. He just dropped a $650 3D printer off at my door and walked away. Luckily, I heard, like I said, I was really excited for this, so I ran out to see what the noise was, and I could hear him closing his door out in the parking lot about 100 yards away. It's like, come on, buddy. You couldn't even ring the doorbell. $650 3D printer, and he couldn't be bothered to even ring the doorbell. I was so pissed. Because in my area, porch pirates are a real problem. And they have been for a long time. I tend not to order online if I can help it. Because yeah, so if you're not there to collect it, somebody's going to run off with it, and then you got to go through hell with these companies to try to get it replaced and get blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's now one of the ways I got around that for a long time is when I did order online, I had it sent to the local Canada Post Depot and I'd go in and I'd pick it up there personally. It's just across the street, but they won't do that with electronics. So 3D printer being electronic, they wouldn't do it. So yeah, I got off really lucky that day. But yeah, my first run-in with Purelator actually was years earlier. I guess this would have been, when were 486s a thing? I guess that would have been the early to mid 90s, somewhere around then. So I had a 486 and I had just upgraded to my first Pentium computer. And my brother lived in BC at the time, and he wanted to take some computer programming courses. So he asked me if he could have my 486 to use, and I'm sure I don't need it now. So I bundled it up and I mailed it down to him, and he got it, and cool. He had it for a couple of years, and then he got a new computer himself, and he said, "Okay, I'm going to send you back the 486." I'm like, "Okay, cool," because it worked, it ran. I always have it on hand, I have my old Dell right here over here. It doesn't run. Well, it does run, but I don't run it anymore. But, it's just a momentum of days gone by. And I would have treated the 486 much the same way. So JD, he packages it up and he bubble wraps it and he tapes it all up and he goes into Purelator and he buys insurance for it, and they were happy to sell him insurance, take his money, and he sends it to me, and it gets to me, and it is smashed. They had literally been kicking the shit out of this box. There's no other way the damage happened. is somebody kicked the shit out of it. The case was cracked and broken, and computer didn't run anymore. There was too much damage to it. So I went to Purolator and I said, this is unacceptable. And they said, oh, well, because it wasn't in factory wrapping, the insurance is void and nil. So got nothing. Ended up tossing it away because Purolator failed to take proper care in handling it, delivering it, and they did not live up to the insurance that they had sold them. Like, it'd be one thing if they said you're not in a original packaging, so we're not going to sell you insurance. That would be one thing. No, they took his, I don't know how, it was $50 or $60 for insurance. They took his money, but they never had any intention of honoring the insurance. So I've had a long history of not liking delivery companies. And that was back in the early 90s when Porch Pirates were not a thing at all. It was just delivery drivers. Now, and back then they even rang doorbells, something they seem to be allergic to nowadays. So this past week, a couple weeks ago now, actually, I had the week from hell. So for the first day, I think it was a Monday, there was somebody actually ringing my doorbell at like 10 in the morning. I don't get up until around 11 to 12 o'clock. I worked nights my entire life. My body is set to nights. I don't get up in the morning unless I absolutely have to. So this guy's ringing my doorbell and I'm annoyed. So I come downstairs and he's like, delivery. I'm not expecting a delivery. And he holds it up. Is this your address? I'm like, no, that's not even remotely my address. Oh, okay. And he goes, well, at least he rang the doorbell. So he's ahead of most delivery drivers nowadays. Then a couple days later, I get up and I go out. First off was the pizza guy. Guy shows up, pizza, Uber driver. And he rings the doorbell. And I go to the door and he's like, pizza. I didn't order pizza. He's like, is this your address? And I look at the address. I'm like, buddy, you're 98 blocks away from this address. We're on the north side of Edmonton and you want to be in the heart of downtown. Like, my address is, first off, my address is a name. It's not numbers. So how did you mix up a numbered address with my address? And second off, even if you went by the numbers, they're not remotely close. Not even in the slightest. It's like, as I said, it was 98 blocks away. There is absolutely no way for Google to make Google Maps or iPhone, whatever their app is called, to make this mistake. It's like, this is just driver incompetence. I just laughed. I go, somebody's getting a really cold pizza. I hope he's not tipping. And then a few days later was the coup de grace. I wake up in the morning and I go out to water my plants in my yard, and I got these 3 massive boxes tossed over my fence. I keep my fence locked. I have a fairly nice yard, so I lock my fence, and so that nobody can wander in and steal my bird bath, because my bird bath's like $200. It's not super expensive, but it's still not something I want to replace, or things like that. So I keep my gate locked, and my gate is like 4 feet high. So the delivery driver came with these 3 boxes, which again is not my address, not remotely, and he just tossed them over the fence into my yard. And he walked away. So I call up UPS, because it was a UPS driver. And I'm going, I got these 3 boxes in my yard, and that's not my address on the packing slip. Oh. Well, can you deliver them? No, I'm not going to deliver your packages. That's what you have delivery drivers for. Oh, well, you can keep them or just donate them to somebody. I'm like, excuse me? Don't you think somebody paid you money? First off, they ordered this stuff and they paid money for this stuff, and then they paid you money to deliver it. Don't you think you should be sending a driver to come pick it up and deliver it? Okay, somebody will call you back. Nobody ever called me back. Now, ironically to this story, The people must have got a notification saying your packages have been delivered, and they looked and their packages weren't delivered. So they actually hunted down the delivery driver themselves, and he led them to my place. And they're at my yard, and I happened to notice them outside because, like I said, I keep my gate locked, so they couldn't get in, but they could see the packages in my yard. And so I went outside, and they're like, yeah, these are ours and blah, blah, blah. So I'm talking to them. Well, first off, I talked to the delivery driver and like, yeah, I talked to UPS. They said they were going to call back. Did somebody call you? Nope. Nobody's ever called me. So UPS had absolutely no intention of calling the driver or me. They were just going to let these people go without. And the fact that these people hunted down the driver to get these tells us that there was something important in these packages to them. I warned the people that he had tossed them over there. So if there was anything breakable, there's a very good chance that it's broken, because one of the ends was like, it was completely crushed from landing on the point because I have stones like gravel on my yard, not grass. And it just boom. And he said, no, there's nothing breakable in there. So, I don't know what was in it. I didn't open his packages, but it's like, clearly it was important to him and his wife. So they got their packages. They were happy, but I'm just like, seriously, UPS did not call their driver. They never did call me back. They told me to keep it or donate it to somebody. That was their solution for them delivering to the wrong address. Like, come on. That's absolutely ridiculous. So that's about the delivery drivers. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. It's, I order, cannabis oil, from a medical cannabis company here in Canada. And they have a deal with Canada Post to do free delivery. But Canada Post refuses to ring the doorbell. They just take this package, they shove it into my mailbox, and they walk away for anyone to walk by and grab it. So I actually do pay the extra $5 so that Purelator, because much as I hate Purelator on this, because it's medication, they have to get a signature. They have to ring the doorbell and they have to get a signature. They cannot just deliver it like Canada Post does. So that's why I pay the extra $5 for delivery, is so that somebody rings my damn doorbell. But you shouldn't have to pay extra money for somebody to ring your doorbell and get a signature. That should be mandatory for any courier service. Any of them. UPS, Browns, FedEx, Prime, Canada Post. It should be mandatory. But for some reason, they've convinced the world that that's asking for too much of them. It's ridiculous. So the other part of this problem, as I mentioned, it is porch pirates. In my area, porch pirates have gotten really, really bad. And here's a number of pictures just over the last week of porch pirates hitting the north side hub group I'm in for Edmonton. The last one, this guy was so blatant, or brazen, I guess would be a better word, is he followed the Purelator van until it stopped. And he was on a bicycle. And he followed it and he stopped. And he watched the driver walk up and put it on the stairs, take a picture and walk away. Never rang the doorbell. Never let the people know the package was there. And as soon as he got in his van to drive away, this idiot jumped up, grabbed it, and bicycled off with the package. And these people got this picture off of their doorbell cam. But come on, this could have been avoided if Purelator had just rang the damn doorbell. That's it. Ring the doorbell, get a signature. That is how this is supposed to work. If you're going to do the online ordering, then it's imperative that you deliver the package and the people that ordered it get the package. This dropping off on a doorstep and walking away is ridiculous. And the porch pirates, they know this, so they're just stealing at their heart's content. Police aren't going to do anything about it. You know, it's ridiculous. And honestly, I think this has to change. I don't know if it's municipal. I don't know if it's provincial. I don't know if it's federal. But some government level or all government levels need to pass bylaws, laws, whatever, that these courier companies must ring your doorbell and get a signature for deliveries, bar none. My other issue is I have an aging mother. She's 87 with dementia. And we just moved her into an old folks home, extended care. But before that, she was in her own apartment and she would order Amazon. And once in a while, she'd get UPS or FedEx to deliver her packages. Now, this shit was like Depends or Ensure, that protein drink that seniors drink to get their protein. You know, that's all this stuff was. And Pure Later was terrible for this because she was in an apartment building. So they would come up and they'd get entry to the lobby. She was on the second floor. And they'd fill out a notice and they'd stick it to her mailbox saying, we tried to deliver, but you weren't home, so you got to pick up your package at this depot. They never went up to her door. She was home. 99% of the time she was home. She's 87 with dementia. She's not out gallivanting. You know, Amazon, to their credit, do actually deliver right to her door every time. They never had a problem. They'd go to her door, they'd knock, she'd answer, and that was that. No problem at all. But for some reason, UPS, FedEx, Pure Later, it was the same thing. They'd walk in, they'd fill out a form, stick it to her mailbox, and drive away. They never once tried to deliver to her door. And again, this, I honestly think, be it a bylaw municipally, provincially or federally, this should be illegal. They should have to do this by law. No exceptions. You know, and it shouldn't be stuck to the mailbox. If you're going to notify somebody that you were there and they didn't answer, you should be sticking it to their actual apartment door. That shows us you were at the actual fucking door. For some reason, these people have become so bloody lazy and incompetent that the customers are losing their packages. And Mom had numerous packages stolen from her door because of this, you know, and it was a shame. She put up a big note on her door once, said, you know, I'm an elderly lady. I'm not very mobile, so please stop stealing my packages because I need my packages. You know, and, you know, obviously it's not going to do anything, but that was her attempt to try to get the thieves to stop. There needs to be harsher laws for these people, and the penalties need to be harsher. Because that's just, you know, if you're invalid, if you're senior, you don't move, like these are the people that are going to use the online ordering most of the time. And these usually teenage to early 20 pricks are, well, they're vandalizing them, basically. They're targeting seniors and disabled to, you know, I don't even know what the right word is, but, you know, it needs to stop. But for some reason, nobody's talking about this, and I don't get that. I really don't get that. To me, this is a no-brainer. You know, let's catch these guys, toss them in jail, throw away the key, and we're done. Now, okay, maybe not that serious, but you get the impression. You get the point. You know, I don't like what society's turned into. My last Let's video was about indoctrinated ideology, and this is just an extension of that. The modern society has no respect anymore. The respect that was there prior to, I'm going to say 2000, doesn't exist anymore. And that's horrible. I think that's horrible anyway. So anyway, that's my video for this week. If you like the video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I encourage people to leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. Also, always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage people to leave a comment, especially on a topic like this. It gets us talking about it. Share your stories. Maybe I can do another video if I get enough stories shared. And It really does help me with the YouTube algorithm. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Bye.